Hello, everybody. My name is Flo.
What's up? I'm Sandy.
I'm Brandon.
This is Jane, and welcome to String Along.
Hey guys, so uh we have an announcement to make. So technically this is pretty much the end of our season 1. We really appreciate all of you for listening and tuning into all of our, 17 episodes, especially this one which is 18. But yeah, I mean, we just appreciate it. How do you guys want to say it to the audience?
For this episode, since it's gonna be a little different, we're just gonna today's topic is just gonna be about how we actually met, in general, how this team was formed, and what's gonna happen after season one is over, and what to expect for season two.
I just wanted to ask because I did join late. How did you guys start this podcast? Like, who mentioned it? Whose idea was it?
It was actually Brandon who mentioned it. Like, me and Brandon were catching up on a video call because we haven't seen each other in a while. And we're just talking, and then we're like, oh, wow, these topics are actually really good. We should start a podcast. And so that's kind of what really ignited the journey with this whole string along thing.
And yeah, the reason why out of anyone that I've chosen, I don't know why, but when it comes to talking and socializing, I thought of Flo, and I was like, I haven't hit it up Flo in so long. So
Yeah,
one day I just texted him and I was like, hey, and he's like, yo, what's up? And I was like, I haven't seen you in a long time. And he's like, yeah, man. And I was like, hey, what are your thoughts on joining a podcast team and talk about stupid shit?
that's very true. I
And
think,
Flo,
yeah, I think like Brandon hadn't talked to me for like about a year. So it was
mm-hmm.
after I graduated, and it was last year. So I graduated for 1 year, like from college, and Brandon just never. Actually, you hit me up for for a Vegas trip before that, I believe. And then
Yeah,
there was a third member before us as well. There was another member. His name is Calvin Chung. You can just beep it out if you don't want it.
no, we're gonna put
But
his name.
Calvin Chung was already in there at first, and then it was us four, and we were just doing it. But eventually, he became a little busier because he got a full time job, and he opted out. And then you came to the picture, Jane. One day, what happened, Brandon? That one day when you first met Jane.
Well, we did the paint episode, and then that was when we ate the Paki chip challenge,
I
and
wasn't
that was
there.
like,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was the first
huh?
time in
Oh,
person.
right.
Oh, in
Oh,
person.
right, in person. But
Okay.
I
Okay.
did meet Jane when Flo, Sandy, and I were just drinking, and we were just trying to do a trial and error for a episode. And I was like, "Who's this short Korean girl?" I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was just like, "Who is this girl?" And then I was just like, "Oh," and when we did our first episode, we hung out with all of us, and I was like, dude, she should totally join our team. And she actually helped us with reorganizing our format, which is thank you to Jane. She actually saved our butts on Instagram, video editing, and what else? A lot, pretty much.
Yeah,
This structure.
restructuring the whole podcast team.
I remember my first impression of everyone. Well, I've known Flo for a really long time, but Brandon and Sandy, I pretty much met them through this podcast. And Brandon, I was like, oh my gosh, who's this guy like pretending like he's drinking, like, but he's not, like he has his cup, but it's like, and I was like, who is this guy? No, I'm just kidding, but super, super chill. And then Sandy, I thought she was like one of those like super like innocent, like quiet girls, and she is. But I'm like, dang, like the things that she could talk about, I'm like, whoa. So it was fun. It was fun.
Now, my
Yeah,
question. Mhm. Sorry.
um so I was like pretty happy that Jane joined the team because I felt like I was the only girl actually, and I was like, oh, it would be nice to have another girl's perspective. That way, I don't get teamed up by two other guys.
Did that ever happen though?
No.
Yes,
No.
yes, it did. Yes, it did. At the beginning, it definitely did.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. What did you want to ask
Yeesh.
Brandon though?
I did want to ask how has this podcast helped you guys personally? Have you guys seen a huge change prior to this podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you guys have watched our previous episode, especially the earlier on, I said like a lot. If you guys can make a drinking game out of it.
Um,
Me too. Oh my gosh, me too. I finally realized like how I say like a lot right now too. It's been a week. It's been a while, but I definitely try to talk slower now.
Mm.
So that's good. I'm definitely like thinking first before it comes out. So yeah, and then
Mhm.
critical thinking, like I never thought I could answer something, and I sometimes like with all of your guys' answer too, I'm like, oh wow, like you just thought of that on the spot.
mhm. As for me, I think I grew a lot in terms of just voicing my opinion. But I didn't realize my flaws in terms of when I speak in like just in general. I say a lot, I believe, but I didn't notice that until I started having to maybe do a couple trailers and started having to edit just a little. I barely haven't like had any input on that, but when I did, then I started realizing. So I feel like if I were to have edited more, I would have realized more of what I could have worked on. But personally, I think things are coming out of my head easier because I've actually talked a lot. We've been doing podcasts, and I think that's what that's the biggest thing I got out of it, and that's something I could use on later on too, further on in life.
You know, as ironic, I mean, not ironic, but I actually would like to tell each of you how you've grown personally, from what I've seen. So, Flo, I think you have been more disciplined in terms of doing everything on time and showing up and knowing when to do the podcast. So for Jane, I think you have so much patience. Although I don't know you before, but it seems like you just have a huge amount of patience, and you're willing to put most of the work in. And throughout that whole time, your effort is always going to be appreciated because she did a lot of our editing for us, and she put in a lot of work. No, like seriously, you put in a lot of work.
Yeah, editing is
Sandy,
not easy. It takes
yeah,
so much time and effort to do it.
even trailer, good. Flo does that trailer too, and we've been just having fun with it. And Sandy, she's very quiet, but holy shit, ever since she joined that podcast, I think her confidence went
Mm.
rocketed. Because honestly, you have that confidence, I would say, especially when you speak with like us, and we also agree with what you say. It gives you that confidence. So I think out of everyone, like personality wise, Sandy, you have grown like extraordinarily, like crazy, which is pretty good.
I definitely agree with that. I think you're definitely more comfortable with voicing what you have to say, and I think you were leading a lot of the conversations because you were the one in charge of the topics and all that, and I think that made it. I think you got a lot better over time, so that's good.
Mhm.
And speaking of topics, Sandy, so let's tell the viewers how we started off with our topics. Like, how did we just think of these different stupid topics?
That's actually a really good question. I don't even remember how we started with those topics.
Jane?
I think I
Mm-hmm.
think it was probably because we started talking about random things and we always compared each other about like with our opinions about certain things, especially when it came to dating. So I believe the first couple episodes is how we came up with those topics.
We always
I
wanted
think
to make sure that the topics we actually talked about as well were different. Something that maybe may have been a little uncomfortable for us to talk about, but it was we had to get out of our comfort zone. Just like when you talked about when we focused on like period talks and all that. Like that's stuff that you don't really hear every now and then. So
And also, like when we talk about a topic, we kind of go off track sometimes, or even uh, it is with the topic, but sometimes we're like, oh, we should talk about that the other times, and then we would actually make a whole episode with it,
mhm.
like the period talk.
Yeah, it comes and goes. It pretty much everything goes with the flow. Hey, with the flow. Okay, never mind. But anyways, I do remember our perspective episode the most. And I think it's just the boys against the girls. I think that was one of my favorite episodes, and especially period talk. I think we had a lot of people like talking to us about it. But what was
Mhm.
your favorite episode, guys?
I definitely like the boys and girls perspective just because
Mm.
it fascinates me still for me to think about how boys just have a nothing box. I still can't get over that fact.
My favorite was definitely the period talk because I've never had a conversation about guys about how like periods, and like seeing like Flo's and Brandon's perspective was funny too. But because of Sandy, I was able to be more open about talking about period because I had like a girl like supporting me, and it's like you don't know how it feels. So yeah, it was just so funny, like, and it's so weird how you guys couldn't take it well, but then I mean, but you guys knew a lot about it too, and I was like, "Oh, wow."
Mhm. For me, it was definitely perspective, and actually zodiac signs. So the
I was
reason
gonna
why I
say.
like zodiac signs is because we actually had somewhat of an expert, Sandy's friends, Jamie. But it was mainly because I didn't know much about zodiac signs, and I thought I did know a good amount, and eventually, Jamie kind of corrected, my beliefs, and that was good. It was good. It was very knowledgeable. But for me, the reason why perspective was also really good was the fact that um, I knew a lot about it in terms of I read a lot about Instagram and all that, but it clarified just me talking to Jane and Sandy about it was a clarifying point. Like it made me understand and made me 100% sure that what I was reading off of perspectives was actually true. And just knowing that it's actually true kind of mind blew me as well. Because you can read a lot of things online, on Instagram, whatever, and they could all be just fake, and so I thought that maybe it was fake, and then eventually, as we talked about and we saw another side, then it actually clarified it.
And even talking about our recent ones like green flags, what else? What else
Red
did we talk about?
flags, toxic
Red. I mean,
friends.
oh,
Toxic
toxic friends.
friends.
Exactly. It's like you know, although we're all different, in a sense, we all have lived through that in our lives. And I just find it how, it's very helpful that it's not only just me feeling that way. And it's pretty dope that we get to share our experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's crazy how, like, different all 4 of us are too, and I think
Yeah.
that was what brought, like, different perspective in every topic that we had. And then
Hmm.
this was, like, my way of learning about, like, Sandy and Brandon because I did meet them through this podcast, and, like, if I could, like, learn so much about them, I'm sure, like, other viewers could do the same thing.
And just even even the fact that we brought guests over, like Julia, Jamie, Jenny, all J's. Whoa.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't star Julia, but we definitely appreciate the people who did put in time for us. Even Jasmine, another J.
That's true.
Whoa.
Same.
But but yeah, it's just crazy how we've developed, and because of the constant views, and right now I'm seeing we have 44 subscribers. I mean, it's more than I thought we would have gotten. What do you guys think?
It's definitely a lot more than I thought we would get.
Right?
Yeah, so thank you to those 44 subscribers. We really appreciate it. It made me really happy to see those, people that follow us and subscribe to us.
And even those challenges, what the hell? I forgot about the challenges until I saw it.
Flo still has powder in his in his pants. It
Yep.
counts.
Actually, if y'all haven't watched the powder video, go ahead and watch it. But every now and then when I open the cupboards or whatever, sometimes it smells powder. Sometimes whatever it is, actually, sometimes even on the table, just like for some reason it just randomly shows up. So yeah, I mean, I'll
But
always
it wasn't a
remember this.
regret, right?
It wasn't. It was not. I think it could have been at a different place where it could have, been better, I guess. But for my sake, it could have been better, but it was good, I think. I definitely like the challenge video. It was fun.
So yeah, I mean, speaking of all the fun times, we also had difficult times. And what would you guys say that this um how much toll have you gotten from this episode? I mean, from these projects?
Um, mental tolls all from Brandon. He stresses me out. Just kidding. But honestly, with the whole podcast, it has been very time consuming, and when we do record our episodes, it runs pretty late into the night, and we're usually by then we're exhausted from the entire day doing things such as our jobs, like the rest of them, and yeah, it's just it starts to become more straining as we keep doing more episodes. So sometimes we have to redo some of the episodes due to technical difficulties. Or if something doesn't come out right and we have to restructure it.
My biggest toll was also looking at Brandon's face every. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But I think for me, because I haven't been to school in so long. Like it's been almost like 2 years since I went to school. So when I was editing everything, it felt like I had like a project. So like if I do procrastinate, then it becomes a problem. I would have to finish it like the day before. So like that was a bit hard. And I do work like 50 hours a week. So that's a little difficult as well. But when I was like working at home, like work from home every single day, like it was totally fine. Like I have time to relax, eat, and then I jump right in. But because I do have to go into my office, it became a little more difficult. But never thought it was like a burden or anything. Like I enjoyed editing it, like listening to it again and listening to like how I talk was actually it was actually more interesting than when I'm actually talking. Because a lot of times we don't even know what we're saying until we listen to it again. And that little details that we had, I was just like, oh wow, like everyone has these small habits,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me even think more about what I could have said, or agreeing on what you like agreeing or disagreeing with what you guys had to say. So yeah, overall it's great.
Personally, for me, I don't think there was that many difficulties. I mean, I did learn a lot along the way. Um, I mean, it was not. There's nothing much. Just kind of like, I guess, matching each other's schedules and trying to like meet up at extent like more times on top of the podcast to create like I guess like challenges. That's what I was saying. The challenges, I guess that was like more time consuming, I guess. But other than that, everything was okay. And usually, you do know that the one that says it was easy or it was fine, it was whatever, that person's usually the person that does the least. Keep that in mind.
No, that's
I'm
not
calling
true.
myself out, but I think it's true. Usually, okay, so like, just let me put that into a project's perspective or a gamer's perspective. When you're doing a project, whoever's working the hardest on it is gonna admit that the project was hard. But whoever is getting a free ride is gonna be like, "Oh, it was easy." Well, obviously it was easy because that person didn't do any work on it. Now, when you're playing on the game in the gamer's perspective, if you're playing a game, whoever's carrying the team is trying their hardest, so they're playing their best, and that's a hard game for that person because he's carrying the whole team. But whoever's at the bottom, they get a free win and they didn't try hard. So then they go like, "Yeah, it was an easy game. I still got the win," and that's because they didn't do shit. So keep that in mind, everybody. If somebody says that the project was easy when it was supposed to be hard, it's because they probably didn't do anything.
You did. But next
How about you, Brendan?
I think it yeah, this project has been, it's not easy. It's like a lot of time, and just getting around our schedules was one of the hardest things to do. But overall, I think it was worth it because, we are tired mentally, but it was just like something that we can just do on our own. And this is just for our memory books. When we get
Yeah.
older, hey, remember that one time we did a podcast? Shut the fuck
Those
up.
episodes are probably still gonna be on YouTube when we're old.
we come back and we're like famous.
Remember that time when Flo just like, I'm just kidding.
It's like, why do we have 400, like 400 subscribers right now?
Like out of nowhere, it just pops up.
Yeah.
Or at the end, it'll be like, what happened to String Along?
Yeah, hella
But
comments, followers, subscribers.
yeah, but the reason why we're also talking about this, guys, is just that, we are currently, taking a break from this project. This is just the season 1. We do not know what the future holds for us. Flo, do you want to continue?
Yeah, so this marks the end of season 1, and hopefully for season 2, it's gonna be even better structured for your viewers, even more, entertaining topics, and maybe hopefully you'll get more knowledge out of it. But what we're looking at so far and what we have in mind is that potentially we'll have less hosts. So a couple of us may leave, including myself, and then we may have, 2 to 3 or 2 to 1 hosts with more guests. So look forward to having more guests in whatever topic they're experts at. And yeah, you'll get to hear more perspectives and hopefully learn more.
Say something? Oh, well, I just want to, well, thank you so much for everyone for watching us, for supporting us, all of our friends and family that supported us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, and I am excited for what's gonna be ahead of us. But if you miss us, you could let us know, like, and maybe
Our
we'll come
DMs
back
are always
earlier.
open for you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, viewers, listeners out there. It means a lot to us that you guys supported us with this very long journey that we had. I wish you guys. I will. I will see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Don't cry while you're
We
saying this.
yeah. I was gonna say, who's crying? No one's crying. But
I'm
this
just gonna
has
cry
definitely
after.
been this has definitely been more than a 6-month journey. As we're flashing back, holy shit. That's what I have to say. Holy shit. How many hours did we spend on this? More than like, I would say 30 hours, maybe 60. But we did spend a lot of time, and we just want to say thank you. Like, you guys have no idea how much support we got and how much feedback we have, especially from friends. And thank you for tuning in.
So thank you for watching. Make sure to comment, subscribe, and like the channel because it will be in season 2. Looking forward to new episodes, completely different, restructured, and yeah, there's gonna be a compilation, compilation. There's gonna be a look out for a new edited video about everything we started from the first episode till now is gonna be great. It's gonna be hopefully sad as well, and emotional. But thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.
Music.
It's compilation. Complete.
All right, hello everybody. This is String Along, episode number 1.
Sandy, are you aware of this chip?
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot. Hello, it's another day with String Along. I think people should be comfortable talking about periods and
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like hungry all the time and I'm craving for food, and then my food cravings are not satisfied, and it's just absolutely the worst.
It's actually like more like an excuse for me to eat more sweets since I'm like, it's okay, I'm on my period. I could eat eat another ice cream today.
When girls pee, I thought past girls use that just to stop the pee from leaking. I thought it was just for pee.
As someone who is like pretty independent, I have a hard time relying on people, and it's just the fact that like whenever I feel lonely, I don't want to share my burden with other people because like it'll make them sad, you know? Obviously, I don't want my friends and family to be sad.
I think when I wanted to talk to someone about my problems, and I have a lot of friends around me that would listen to me, but at one point there wasn't anyone that I wanted to tell.
So, not saying that like guys don't have emotions or whatever, but it's just for girls. Like I feel like we just see things through like every type of like solution and stuff.
The thing is, the guys always try to be logical and they always take the other person's side, and then that's why we get mad because we're like, okay, like stop being logical, I just want you to be there for me.
Today, and I think as like we're like going like through life, like we start to see that like we're like society is embracing a culture of like individualism, and I think that's
Why you laughing, Flo?
Wait, I'm sorry, but could you guys hear my dog snore?
no.
Okay. I was so worried. I was trying to like top her, but
Especially during this pandemic is because there's an increase of like social disconnection in our society.
I'm so sorry. I don't know.
So why do we feel loneliness? Especially during this pandemic, it's easy to feel isolated, and today in our society, like there's an increase of social.
Sorry.
hey, put a post-it over Flo's face.
Wait,
Put a
yeah,
post-it
bro.
over Flo's face. Which is a sport I have never seen before.
Wait, how? What is the answer?
Never played
I think it's slander.
A slander.
Dang it.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
Very softly.
Yes, stop.
I like it, but it's like.
I like how she's offering us, and we
Just-
never
just like
offered
it.
her. We'll just
Have
leave
some,
it
have
out.
some, man. Have some.
We'll take a little
Let's
bit.
enjoy the good food.
I'm so lonely.
Whoa. Wait, I'm on.
Yo! Oh, I chill!
And welcome to stream.
Bring 'em out.
150 milliliters. So I'll drink this and then I'll drink water later.
Cheers.
And I just finished my last ounces of water.
I'm recording this video because I messed up. I did not record day 4 and day 5. I was out of town during day 4 and day 5, which was Thursday and Friday. Yeah.
I got Cinnabons. I'm doing a challenge. You wanna wave? Wave at the camera?
I should probably sit there.
Alright guys, finished my we finished our 3 liters. This is my friend Da, who's drinking more.
I am tipsy.